We just didn't make our guys highest paid, a lot of money on offense. We didn't make plays. I disagree. When a department in your company is in a death spiral, it's on management. Okay, and the Eagles' offense has been circling the drain for 9 months. That's on the offensive coordinator or the head coach. Okay, the players, these same expensive guys last year were crushing it because they had Kellen Moore, who went to the Saints, and the Saints' offense this year with Tyler Shuck was better than this offense in Philadelphia. Managers and department heads, and that's what an OC is, they control things like game plans, game design, and your job or mine, talent acquisition. This is not, I mean, my take on Philadelphia all year is, what is the offense? I don't know half to half. Matt Hasselbeck talked about this yesterday.
I do have a problem with identity. And, to me, the identity of this team has to go through Saquon. The last 5 games, Saquon was pretty darn good. What the Eagles had been doing in the past was so good. And what they've been doing, I would say, for the last year and a half, it just feels like they're trying to be something that they're not. And so, whatever they want to be, like go be that. But to me, Saquon's got to be a part of it. And that physicality up front, that needs to be a part of it as well.
I'm going to let the rest of the clip play, but I just have to punctuate this. I actually really love Matt Hasselbeck. I really, really do. And I don't really make these comments that much, but this screams as someone that didn't really actually watch the Philadelphia Eagles play. They tried to go through Saquon. They tried to handle. He could not run the ball because they could not win at the line of scrimmage, and the play calling was the most predictable play calling in the history of the world. Saquon, the Eagles were second in the NFL in negative yards on the amount of negative plays in the run game. They tried to keep handing the ball off to Saquon, and it simply did not work. So trying to say that they were trying to be something that they're not is just incorrect. They could not run the ball. They could not run the ball, and so it consistently set up these 2nd and 3rd and longs. They tried to hand the ball off on 1st down again and again and again and again, and it did not work. So that evaluation honestly drives me crazy because it's just fundamentally incorrect.
And just take Ben Johnson, what he did week 1 with the Bears when he got the job. Created accountability, was tough on his quarterback, publicly, privately, accountability to everybody, cleaned up the negative plays, sat down with Ryan Poles and said, I'll take the job if you fix the interior of the O-line. I mean, a real imprint, a plan of attack. I don't know what Philly is. I know Nick Sirianni is very dependent on the skill of the OC. There's a picture, I think it was from HBO or something. There was a picture in a meeting of the Philadelphia Eagles this year, and sorry for the radio audience, but it talks exclusively about negative plays or turnovers. Can't turn the ball over. Don't turn the ball over. We win if we don't turn the ball over. Yeah, that can't be front and center. You know who turns the ball over all the time? The Niners, the team that just ended your season with 60% of their money banged up all year.
Okay. I mean, dude, the Niners, they haven't even won the Super Bowl with Kyle Shanahan in a decade. So let's chill. The Philadelphia Eagles literally beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl, something that the 49ers literally failed to do multiple times. And guess what? The 49ers turned the ball over in that Super Bowl. Muffed punt, fumble by McCaffrey, game, set, match. So let's chill out on that. But listen, the reality is what Kelsey said is correct. That the loss being on the players, the players bear a massive burden on that. Okay? I absolutely 100% largely blame coaching for how things unfolded this year. But like I pointed out, the one play by Fred Johnson literally giving up on the play, directly leading to a sack on Jalen Hurts when he would have led them on a game-winning drive. But then, of course, we know the drops from AJ, Saquon, Devontae, etc. And if those players make those plays, then the Niners lose. It's just that straightforward. Nick Wright himself, who literally clearly hates the Eagles. He dropped banners for their loss. He clearly wants to troll the Eagles. He even said if A.J. Brown catches that ball, they win the game. That's Nick Wright himself saying that. Greg Jennings came out and said, quarterback did not play as bad as those stats suggest. He did what he needed to do. But the players, the receivers, he goes, they did not make the plays. They did not make the plays. Orlovsky, etc., they all went out and said those players did not make the plays. Tom Brady is out there saying, you gotta catch the ball. You gotta catch the ball. How can you win games if you're going to literally drop 7 passes? That was a game that they should have won. Let's just be serious here. People fans have such an allergy to the shouldas, and I get it. The shoulda, coulda, woulda. I get it. I really, really do. But if the Eagles actually just if each individual player just did their job, they would have won. But the big thing is to me is that all of the plays that those players did need to make, except for maybe Saquon, but even Saquon, because Saquon was trying to catch that ball, and then he was going to be immediately met with contact, like he was going to know that he was going to have to make a play, is that they were all hard plays. You were asking Devontae, AJ, etc., except for maybe the one throw to AJ that wasn't really difficult, that he definitely should have caught on the final drive. All the other plays were pretty hard. They would have been awesome catches and awesome throws. It would have been awesome on awesome. Whereas you consistently see around the league, whether it is the Bears with Ben Johnson or the Rams with Sean McVay, Shanahan, etc., that there's just so many more layups. And that's what I keep talking about again and again and again, is that there's just no layups for the Philadelphia Eagles this season. And truthfully, there really hasn't been for Jalen Hurts since 22, but at least last year, the run game for them acted as the layups. It acted as layups. So many people love to bash the Philadelphia Eagles offense, or how much they rely on the run game, or how bad the pass game is, or whatnot. And it's like the fundamental difference is, and why that pass game, is less than what some of these other teams have, is because the other teams get the layups. They get those positive screen plays, the behind the line of scrimmage plays, the easy layups, a 7-yard pass to a wide open tight end in the middle of the field. They consistently get those plays again and again and again. And listen, if you think I'm wrong, just go ask yourself, why were there so many touchdowns to the tight ends this year? Because they were actually schemed and they were layups. And they were able to run it and execute it. They did not exist at any other part of the field, and they did not exist for Saquon, Devontae, or AJ. There were no layups for any of those players throughout the course of the season. But they were seemingly able to get some layups for Dallas Goedert in the red zone. That alone shows you the power of play calling, the power of coaching, the power of play design on this very team. And when something works and when it doesn't. And so the players absolutely deserve blame. They did not step up. They did not step up in that game. And if they did, they win that game. But the truth is that they made things difficult. The coaching staff made things difficult for the players week after week after week after week after week after week. And it's exhausting. And the players will feel exhausted by it. The players know that their job is difficult. Darius Slay pointed that out. He talked about that with A.J. Brown, saying A.J. is never schemed open, ever. And he's like, I see Justin Jefferson schemed open. I see Jamar Chase schemed open. He goes, I don't see A.J. ever schemed. And it's true. We talk about how amazing a Puka Nacua is, and he is amazing. Go see how consistently open he is. Go look at Travis Kelce. Just go look at his year in 2022. Just Google highlights. One, look at the plays he was making. And two, look at just how open he was again and again and again. The most important weapon on the Kansas City Chiefs, like offensively weapons, obviously Mahomes, but who Mahomes can throw the ball to was Travis Kelce. And yet throughout really his entire career, you could just be like, how is Kelce so wide open? The answer, Andy Reid. Andy Reid. Tyreek Hill had an even better year. He actually had his best year with Tua Tagovailoa than with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Why? Because that is the exact player that Mike McDaniel knows how to maximize to the absolute best of them. And that's what you got. And you got an offense that was insane. And that was with a quarterback that people say can't throw, can't see, isn't that good, etc., etc. Got benched. So coaching matters so much. And it is interesting to hear Colin now finally really bang on the coaching drum here and not blame the players. Like, he's defending the players here. And they deserve to be defended throughout the whole course of the season. They really do. They do bear a massive responsibility for this loss. But it was really interesting to hear Jalen pretty much defend Sirianni, because they asked him about offensive coordinating, and he's like, I put my trust in Howie, Nick Sirianni, and Jeffrey Lurie. And it was like interesting that he said that. And it doesn't feel like a Nick Sirianni is going to get fired. But I was reading a lot of comments, and people were like, love the idea of firing him, getting us Stefanski, etc., etc. But the Eagles deserve to have elite coaching staff. They deserve to have that. They're too great of an organization, too great of a franchise. And that's what makes a loss like this so heartbreaking for the Eagles fans. Because if they just simply had better coaching, they could have found themselves right back in the position to win another Super Bowl. But they simply could not do that. And the fact that we've consistently seen halves where they were great and then halves where they were not, again, that just proves coaching. The players didn't forget to simply understand how to play football half to half. It was that their coaches failed to consistently put their players in positions where they can succeed. Did the Eagles ever run a single wrinkle throughout the course of the season? And when they did have even the closest to a wrinkle, they scored a touchdown. Like a Dallas Goedert handoff. And I was like, that's great. And it's like, you know what? If you know how to maximize a tight end, a Dallas Goedert, then lean into it. You know what? Then Dallas Goedert should have like 18 targets. Feed the beast. Like Tom Brady fed Gronk. Like Patrick Mahomes fed Kelce. Then feed the beast. If that's what you know how to do great, then do it. Then keep doing it. And do it more. And do it again. And figure out how to include Calcaterra at the same time. Do it. Be like, yeah, I am a wizard with tight ends. Let's go. Do it. Do it. Nah. I got like 1 or 2 good tight end plays in me, and that's all I'm going to do. Tom, I don't want to do too much. Like, no. Empty it out. Do it all. Go for it. Show me what you got. Nah. I don't want to. Even that alone shows me just the lack of confidence in play calling and game planning. Walk into this game and say, their DBs, their linebackers, we are just going, we are throwing these 8, 9, 10 yard passes to Dallas Goedert again and again and again. This game is going to be a game where Tom Brady is going, wow, my gosh, at this rate, Dallas Goedert's going to set Gronk better be looking a little nervous out here. His record's about to get beat. I don't know what records Gronk has in the playoffs in that regard, but it's just like, oh man. And he had a couple great plays. Dallas Goedert targeted 7 times. Kelsey against the 49ers in the Super Bowl, number 1 targeted 10 times. They went all in on it. Travis Kelsey in the AFC Championship game against the Baltimore Ravens, 11 catches, 11 targets, 116 yards. They went all in on it. I mean, Dallas Goedert was top in touchdowns for tight ends with 11. He had only 78 targets. 78 targets. Not even top 10 in targets. I mean, Zach Ertz nearly had the same number of targets, and Zach Ertz only played 13 games. Travis Kelsey had more targets. Kyle Pitts had more targets. Brock Powers had more targets. Hunter Henry had more targets. Juwan Johnson had more targets. Jake Ferguson had more targets. The one thing that you know how to do great and know how to be special at, you don't even go all in on. That is an inability to understand what you do best and what you're able to lean on. What did Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson do with their tight end? 15 targets. They went all in. So it's going to be interesting to see who the Philadelphia Eagles go get from a coaching perspective, who's available. It's just so hard to know. We can name all these names, but I have no idea who's available for a coordinating role and who's can get a head coaching job. It really becomes difficult to really decipher that. I have no idea, truly. But the Eagles are going to go all in on that. They're going to be aggressive. And now the only thing is can they get the right coach? And can they be fortunate enough to be healthy again this time around? Because they had the health. All the key players were there. All of them. And it was an opportunity lost. And so can they still bring this thing back? Because they went to the Super Bowl, lost in the playoffs, won the Super Bowl, lost in the playoffs, and then what did they do the next year? I said after they won the Super Bowl, going back-to-back means nothing to me. Three-peating means nothing to me. If you win the Super Bowl this next year, not doing it back-to-back means nothing to me. Just like if the Kansas City Chiefs end up winning a Super Bowl this year, but they didn't three-peat, that means it's less of an accomplishment to me now because you lost one year in the Super Bowl and the next year you won the Super Bowl. No, it's amazing. You kidding me? You won 3 out of the last 4 Super Bowls, but just because they weren't all in the same order, somehow that's less than? No, I could care less about that. And I was very loud about that. To the point that Chiefs fans were very angry about it. And it's what I'm saying about the Eagles here too. It's like, it doesn't matter that you lost this year. If you win another Super Bowl within the next 2 years, because that's what I said. After they won the Super Bowl, I said, the objective is to win another Super Bowl within the next 2 or so years. That's ultimately what it's about, not this whole going back-to-back thing. It's can you win another Super Bowl within the next couple of years? That is ultimately what the realistic, obtainable goal is. You want to go back-to-back. You want to win year after year after year, but it's the NFL. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Philadelphia Eagles? What do you think Philly needs to do to improve their offense to right this ship? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.